Hey, hi all, welcome to the channel. Hope all is well at your end. So in last video, we have covered some inbuilt functions, basically string functions, aggregate functions and numeric functions. This is what we have covered in last session. If you haven't yet gone through it, I'll provide link in the description box. Please go through it. Okay. In today's video, we are going to cover some more inbuilt functions. So in this particular video, we are going to cover date functions, conversion functions and miscellaneous functions. Okay. So let's start this particular video, but before that, if you are new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe it. And please make sure to like, subscribe and share this particular video in order to reach it to wider audience. Okay. So let's talk about date functions. But before that, please note one thing, whatever examples we are going to showcase in this particular video, we have considered October 29, 2024 as the current date. So outputs are presented accordingly. Okay. So first we have got SYSDATE. Okay. So this basically returns the current date and time. Syntax here is SYSDATE. Okay. For example, select SYSDATE from dual. Okay. So this will return the current date from the system. Okay. So output is 29-10-24 if the current date is 29th October. Okay. Next we have add underscore months. So this basically adds a specified number of months to a date. Okay. Syntax here is add underscore months date comma n. Okay. Here n is the number of months to be added. Okay. For example, select add underscore months SYSDATE comma 6 as new date from dual. Okay. So what it will do? It will simply add 6 months in the current date. Okay. If today is 29th October 2024, okay, then it will return 29th April 25. Okay. Just after 6 months, whatever is the date, that will be written by this particular function. Okay. Next we have months underscore between. Okay. So this will basically returns the number of months between two dates. Okay. Syntax is pretty simple. Months underscore between, then date 1 comma date 2. Okay. For example, select months between. Okay. So here first date is 22nd October 2024 and then the second date is 22nd October 2023. Okay. If we execute this particular query, it will return us 12 months as an output. Okay. Then we have next underscore day. Okay. So this basically returns the date of the next specified day of the week. Okay. Syntax here is next underscore day, then date comma day. Okay. For example, select next day SYSDATE comma Friday as from dual. Okay. Then what it will do? Okay. If today is 29th October 2024. Okay. So it will try to find a next Friday after that particular date. Okay. So which is on basically 1st November 2024. So that's the reason here we will get output 1st November 2024. Okay. Then we have last day. Okay. So this basically returns the last date of the month according to specified date. Okay. Syntax here is last underscore day, then date. Okay. For example, select last day SYSDATE as last day of the month from dual. Okay. If today is 29th of October, so it will try to find last day of that particular month. Okay. Which is on 31st October 2024. Okay. So that's the reason here we will get output 31-10-24. Okay. Next we have trunc. So this basically truncates a date to a specified unit. Okay. Unit can be anything like day, month, year. Okay. So syntax here is trunc date comma format. Okay. So format here is YY, truncate to the first day of the year. Then next format is truncate to the first day of the month. Then DD, truncate to the nearest day, which is also a default behavior. If we are not going to define any format, DD is going to be default format. Okay. Now let's look at the example. Select trunc SYSDATE, comma as truncated date from 12. Okay, so this will return 1st October 2024. Okay, now how this particular query is getting executed? Okay, so as we are considering today is 29th of October. Okay, so what it will do, if we are going to apply date function on today's date, okay, whatever is the first date of that particular month, okay, trunc function is going to return that date. Okay, so here first date of October month is 1st October 2024. That's the reason it's returning here 1st 10 2024. Okay, next we have round. Okay, so this basically round date to a specified unit and time. Okay, format is quite similar to what we discussed for trunc. Okay, so round date comma then format. Okay, format is the same. YY round to the nearest year, round to the nearest month, then we have DD round to the nearest day. Okay, for example, select round SYSDATE comma as rounded date from 12. Okay, so this will return 1st November 2024. Okay, so here we are basically rounding month. Okay, so whatever is the next month, it will basically return the first date of that particular month. So it will round to the next month. Okay, so that's the reason here it's returning 1st November 2024. Okay, similarly, if we are going to round it on the basis of year, okay, in that case it will return 1st January 2025. Okay, so round is basically consider the next specified unit. Okay, but the trunc is basically consider the base unit of that particular month, year or day. Okay, so if we are truncating year, okay, in that case it will return for January 2024. Okay, and if we are going to consider on the basis of day, then this will return 29th October 2024. Okay, so let's assume today is 29th October 2024 and right now the time here is 4 p.m. Okay, so it basically truncate all the time. Okay, and whatever is the like the base time or the first time of today's day, that will be like reset here. Okay, so in that case it will return 29th October 2024 and 00 am as an output. So now let's talk about conversion functions. Okay, so first we have got to_char. Okay, so this basically converts a number or date to a string. Okay, so it is quite helpful in converting number to a string or converting date to a string. Okay, so syntax here is to_char, then we'll have to specify date and then the format. Okay, basically the date format. Okay, and if we are going to convert a number to a string, then the format will be to_char number then format. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, so first one is select to_char SYSDATE YYY-mm-dd as formatted date from 12. Okay, so here we are basically converting SYSDATE in a string format. Okay, and what format we want to see? Format here is YY-mm-dd. Okay, so this will return the same format 2024-10-30. Okay, now let's look at the other example. Select to_char 1245.678. Okay, comma, and this is the format. Okay, so here we are converting number to a string. Okay, and we want the number to be displayed in this particular format. Okay, so basically here 9 represents here a digit. Okay, and this is basically a format. Okay, so in this particular example, what we want that after first digit comma has to be there. Okay, and after 4 digit dot has to be there or point has to be there. Okay, so if we execute this particular query, it will return us 1 then comma 245.67. Okay, next we have got to_number. Okay, so this basically converts a string to a number. Okay, syntax here is to_number then the characters. Okay, and other one is to_number expression then format. Okay, so two flavors are there. Okay, So in one way, we can simply pass characters to to underscore number. Okay, it will simply convert character to number. Okay, other way is that if you want to specify format, you can also specify format using this particular function. Okay, so for that, syntax is to underscore number expression and then format. Okay, let's look at the example. Select to underscore number 1 2 3 4 5 as converted number from dual. Okay, so what it will do, it will simply convert this particular string to a number. Okay, and it will return 1 2 3 4 5 as an output. Okay, let's look at the other example. Select to underscore number $1 comma 234.56. Okay, and we want it to be converted into number using this particular format. Okay, so as I said, 9 represents here a digit. Okay, and this particular format is there. Okay, so this will basically convert this formatted string to a number. Okay, so when we have some sort of formatted string, okay, and we want it to be converted to a number, in such cases we'll have to use to underscore number with format features. Okay, so let's suppose you have got like bill of 1000.56. Okay, and it's showing in rupees 1000.56. Okay, now for certain calculation you want it to be converted to number. In such cases we can use this kind of feature. Okay, next we have got to underscore date. So this basically converts a string to a date. Okay, syntax is pretty simple. To underscore date string comma format. Okay, let's look at the example. Select to underscore date 2024-10-22. Okay, the format has to be YYY as converted date from 12. Okay, so this will basically convert this particular string to a date. Okay, now let's talk about miscellaneous functions. So first we have NBL. Okay, so this basically replaces null with a specified value. Okay, let's look at the syntax. NBL, then expression 1, then replacement value. Okay, let's look at the example. Select employee ID NBL bonus comma 0 as bonus value from employees. Okay, so what it will do, okay, if bonus is having null value, it will simply replace that null value with 0. Okay, so this is quite helpful in order to replace null value with specified values. Okay, next we have decode. Okay, so this is basically useful in order to form if else kind of structure. Okay, so using decode we can form if else kind of structure in query. Okay, let's look at the syntax. Decode, then we'll have to specify expression or column name. Okay, then the value 1, then result 1, value 2, then result 2, and then the default result. Okay, now let's try to understand this syntax. Okay, here we'll have to specify some like column value or some sort of conditions. Okay, if that particular column value is having value 1, then the result will be result 1. Okay, and if that column value is having value 2, then the result will be result 2. Okay, so you will have to specify all the possible value, and accordingly what has to be displayed, that will have to specify. Let's say if you have specified 3 values, okay, and the outcome whatever is stored in that particular column, or actually the value whatever is stored in that particular column, it's not matching all of those 3 values. Okay, in such cases whatever you are going to specify in this default results, that's going to be displayed. Okay, let's look at the example. Select employee ID job title decode job title. So here job title is basically a column. Okay, now let's try to understand this. Manager, then management, analyst, then analysis, clerk, then administrative, otherwise others. Okay, as a category. Okay, and from table employees. So what this particular query is doing, so this simply retrieving like employees information from the table employee. Okay, and displaying their job title and category. Okay, and here in category we are using decode function. Okay, so what exactly it's doing? Okay, it's saying if job title is manager, okay, then it should display as a management. Okay, if it's analyst, then it should display as a analysis. If it's clerk, then it should display as a administrative. And let's say if job title is not matching with all the specified value, okay, then it should display others in job category. Okay, Next we have Coalesce. Okay, so this basically returns the first non-null value in a list. Okay, syntax here is Coalesce, expression 1, expression 2, and then expression n. Okay, let's look at the example. Select employee ID, Coalesce, bonus, commission, salary as first non-null from employees. Now what it will do, okay, it will simply look for all these columns, okay, and wherever it will get non-null values, it will stop and fetch that particular value. Okay, now let's try to understand this using one example. Okay, let's say we have got this particular table where we have employee ID, bonus, commission, salary. Okay, now we have got this query. Okay, whatever we discussed in earlier slide. Okay, select employee underscore ID, Coalesce, bonus, commission, salary as first non-null from employees. Okay, now what it will do, okay, for employee 1 it will return 5,000. Okay, basically the first non-null value from all the columns is specified in Coalesce. Okay, so here we have specified bonus, commission, salary. Let's look at the employee ID 1. Okay, so this particular row, bonus is null, commission is null, but salary is 5,000. Okay, so it will simply return the first non-null value, which is 5,000 for employee ID 1. Okay, now let's talk about employee ID 2. Okay, so here first non-null value is 1,000 bonus. Okay, so it will not go further to salary column. Okay, here it will return the first non-null value, which is 1,000. Okay, then the employee ID 3. Okay, so here first non-null value is 2,000, so it will simply return 2,000. Okay, now employee ID 4. Okay, since all the columns are having null values, okay, so it will simply return null. Okay, so that's the uses of Coalesce, okay, which basically returns the first non-null values from the specified column list. Okay, so let's try to execute some queries here. Okay, select this state from dwell. Okay, so it will simply give us today's date. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, so it's showing 1st November 2024 as today's date. Okay, now let's use some functions on this particular thing. Let's say add underscore months. Okay, and SYSDATE, let's add 2 months here. Okay, now let's execute it. Okay, so it has simply added 2 months in current date. Okay, which is basically returning 1st January 2025. Okay, now similarly we can say next day. Okay, next day. Okay, so today is 1st November 2024. Okay, and it's Friday. Okay, let's see when the next Friday will occur. Okay, so we'll simply put here Friday. Okay, now let's execute it. So it's simply giving us next Friday date, which is basically 8 November 2024. Okay, now we can also use last day function. Okay, so let's see last day. Okay, so it should basically give us last date of this particular month. Okay, so it's showing 3030 November 2024. Okay, now let's try to understand the behavior of trunk and round. Okay, so let's use trunk first. Okay, trunk. Okay, so I'm not going to specify any format, so by default it should consider DD. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's truncating the time part and showing 1st November 2024. Okay, now let's specify some format. Let's say Okay, so again this will give us the first date of this particular month, which is the same 1st November 2024. Okay, okay, fine. Now let's truncate it to an year. Okay, so let's execute it. Okay, so it's basically giving us first date of that particular year, which is basically 1st January 2024. Okay, now let's apply the round function on the same. Okay, So it will give us the nearest date for that particular year. Okay, so it will simply round to the next nearest year, okay, which is basically 2025. So ideally it should give us 1st January 2025. Let's execute it. Okay, so this is how it's reverting. Okay, now let's round it to date. Okay, basically DD. Okay, now what it should return? It should return to the next day, okay, which is basically 2nd November. Okay, let's see, it will round to the next nearest date. Okay, see, it's returning 2nd November 2024. Okay, I hope now you are able to understand the difference between trunk and round. Okay, similarly we can try some conversion functions. Okay, so let's convert this date to some character format. To cases date, okay, format I want, let's say YYY MMDD. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, so it's reverting me date into this particular format and converting it into a string. Okay, now we can try two number as well. Two number. Okay, let's say we have got this string 2 3 4 5. Okay, now let's execute it. So it's simply converting this string into a number. Now let's say if you have got some number which is having some sort of formatting. Okay, let's say we have got number in this particular format 23,445. Okay, so now it will try to convert it. Now it will throw us an error. Okay, because we haven't specified the proper format here. Okay, so while converting this particular string into a number, this will give us an error. Okay, so now for that thing, in order to resolve this particular issue, we'll have to give here format. Okay, so we'll give here 99 and then comma 999. Okay, now it should successfully convert this particular string to a number. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, so see, now it has converted this particular formatted string into a number. Okay, now let's try to convert one string to a date. Okay, so for that one select to underscore date. Okay, let's say we have got this string, let's say 12-12-2024. Okay, now let's define the format here. So here format is dd-mm-yy. Okay, then from 12. Okay, now let's execute it. Okay, so here what exactly we are doing? Okay, we are basically converting, okay, this particular string which is in basically string format into a date format. Okay, so it has successfully converted this string into a date format. Okay, similarly we can talk about some miscellaneous functions here as well. Okay, so we have got one table, select from student. Okay, so this is the table we have got. Okay, as of now we don't have any column value which is having null. Okay, so we can insert some value, okay, having null. Let's say insert into student. Okay, values. Okay, let's say next name is, let's say, Peter. Okay, then the roll number is, let's say, 28. Okay, city, I don't want to insert anything, I'll keep it null. Okay, now let's insert it. Okay, so it has inserted. Okay, now let's re-execute this particular query. Okay, now we have got one column which is having null value. Okay, so for student name Peter, we are having city null. Okay, now let's see the uses of NVL. Okay, so we can simply type here student underscore name, okay, comma NVL, okay, city. Okay, if city is null, I want it to be displayed as other. Okay, I'll put it like this. Okay, now let's execute it. Okay, so for Peter, in place of null, now it's displaying others in a city column. Okay, So that's the uses of NVL. Okay. So let's see the uses of decode function. Okay. So maybe in the same query we can use decode function. Okay. So let's execute it one more time. Okay. So this is the result set. Okay. Let's add decode. Okay. Decode. Okay. Let's add decode on this column, student underscore name. Okay. Now what I want to do, let's say if student name is Peter, okay, then I want to return hello Peter, okay, as a greetings. Okay. Let's say if student name is, let's say, Imran, okay, then I want to say hello Imran. Okay. And other than these two names, I don't want to specify any other name. Okay. For others, I want a common greetings. Okay. Common message actually. Okay. So I would say, let's say, hello others. Okay. Okay. So this is my default message. Okay. And I'll rename this column as a greetings. Okay. Now let's execute it. So see, except Peter and Imran, rest all are having generic message which is saying hello others. Okay. Only for Peter and Imran we have got personalized greetings. Hello Peter and hello Imran. Okay. So this is how we can use decode. Okay. So we'll stop here. Hope you would have liked this particular video. If so, please give your thumbs up and make sure to like, subscribe and share this particular video in order to reach it to wider audience. Okay. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Thank you. Keep watching.